Hey everybody, welcome back to course number 1 of Music Business Unlocked. My name is Steve Virginia. I'm the owner of Black Label Nash Entertainment Group. I'm here in my home studio and we're going to go over course number 1, Artist Identity and Brand Foundations. Because if you don't know who you are as an artist, no one else will. Before managers, labels, or fans come into play, you have to be able to define your brand and be able to tell everybody what you are and who you stand for and what your why is, okay? So what we're gonna start with today, we have a couple sections. The first thing we're gonna start with is defining your why, okay? Everybody has a why, whether it's a loved one, whether it's the passion for the music, whether it's your upbringing. You have to tell people why you make music. Are you in it for the fame? Are you in it for your expression, your emotional expression? Are you in it for healing, storytelling? Are you in it for your culture? Doesn't matter. For you, it's important to be able to take that why and convey it to people. That is your why for being able to express yourself through music, okay? Be honest. Authenticity is important. So don't tell people you're not interested in fame if you want to be up on stage in front of 25,000 people and be adored. That's your driving factor. Then tell people, man, I want to be famous. I want to play in front of all these people. If it's to heal from something, if you have a heartache, say, listen, man, this girl broke my heart. This guy broke my heart. And I had to write this record because, man, I'm devastated from the breakup of my significant other, and it's really important to me to get that out. You got to be honest with people and define your why, okay? I want you to write it down into one clear sentence that defines your mission right now, sums it up, okay? It's really important right now as you get started. You can develop that through your career. Your why can change. Ultimately, you can start off with one thing, and as you grow older, you might change for something. You might start off wanting fame. You might meet somebody that you fall in love with. You might have a child, and those whys will change over time, okay? So let me give you an example. Billie Eilish, she's emotionally honest. She has dark pop visuals. You know, she makes music with her brother. She's very distinctive as to who she is. When people see her, they're like, oh, it's Billie Eilish. Okay, that makes sense. There's a lot of artists like that. Michael Jackson was that way. There's a lot of country artists that are that way right now. You have to be able to define who you are, say where you came from, and then visually represent where you came from, okay? Fans will connect with your why, not just your sound. They're going to connect. Just for instance, Georgia boys. There's a lot of Georgia boys in Nashville, right? A lot of those guys are proudly from Georgia. They say, I'm from Athens, I'm from here, I'm from there. I'm a Georgia boy. And that connects with those fans down in the South. People are interested in that. They're interested in you as a person. They want to be on the inside of why you're making music, and not just that you're making music that is not connectable to them, okay? So what you need to do is craft your artist story, okay? I want you, if you haven't yet, get yourself a pen, get yourself a piece of paper, and write all of this down, okay? I'm not expecting you to remember it. You can come back to the video and reference the video as you want, but I want you to take notes because it's important for you to take notes and understand who you are if you're just getting started on this journey. So, your origin story, where you came from, your struggles, your breakthrough moments are important. People really, really, really want to know those things, okay? Absolutely tell people. With the internet being the way that it is right now, people want to know. They want to jump on your bandwagon early. People love to find things early. So make sure that you tell people where you came from and why they should connect with you, okay? Tell them about your struggles. Tell them about your breakthrough moments. If you haven't had any breakthrough moments, tell them about what you want your breakthrough moment to be and how they can help you get there. It's really, really, really important that you do that, okay? So write down your origin story. Give me 2, 3, 4 sentences. Put it on the top of this piece of paper that you just grabbed. I hope you paused the video and went and got a pen and paper. You're going to need it for literally every class because I'm going to give you every little bit of information that I have that will help you guys go from very beginner to making lots of money, to being able to hire people, to being able to license your content at a record label, not sell your soul, and be able to be a 6-figure earner as an artist, okay? Maybe even 7-figure. So let's move on. Your influences. Who shaped your sound and why that matters, okay? People are interested in that. Some people you can definitely tell who shaped their sound. Some people you can't. Some people it's going to be 2 or 3, 4 different artists that shape their sound. But it's important that you are able to note those influences. Who are they? Because a lot of times you can take what they did and cues from what they did and apply it to your own individual branding package, okay? You want to be relatable to people. You need hooks for press introductions. So that's important about where you came from, your struggles, your breakthrough moments, your origin story, okay? So you have your origin story, your influences, your relatability, your hooks for your press introductions and introductions to anybody that you might meet. You've got to tell people where you're from. Say, man, I'm a struggling artist from Georgia. I started making songs because, you know, my grandmother used to be an artist, and she, you know, I grew up in her house, and, you know, she really made me feel this love for country music, and that's why I'm here. I'm doing it because I fell in love with country music at my grandma's house. People love that, okay? They're going to feel a connection to you like this. A great example of this, a great example is Jelly Roll. From prison to platinum. His story drives his brand every day. He says it in every award speech. He preaches it in every award speech. I used to be in prison. You can see where I came from. Anybody can do this. If I can do it, you can do it. And that really, really drives his story as an artist. So it's really important for you to be able to say where you came from, your struggles, and give us your why that you're an artist. Your why is just as important, if not more important, than anything else in the very beginning, okay? So you really need to know who your audience is, okay? This is really important, okay? Your audience and knowing your audience is perhaps the most important thing for a young artist, or you're just going to be PPing away a lot of money as you try and figure it out, okay? Your music, there's a trap that you can fall into saying, oh, my music is universally loved. My music's for everyone. It's not. Your music is not for everyone. Not everyone's going to love you. Doesn't matter who you are. Chris Stapleton, one of the best vocals in the world. Some people hate Chris Stapleton. It's not for everyone. Keith Urban, great guitar player, really fun pop music. But there's some people that hate Keith Urban. Your music is not for everyone, okay? That's a trap that you need to avoid. Your audience discovery is really, really important. You have to define who are your fans, their age, their lifestyle, what other artists they follow. That's really, really, really important. You can start by finding folks that you think are close to you. Ask your best friends, ask your producer, ask, if you don't have a producer yet, ask your mom, who do you think I'm like, Mom? Grandma, who do you think I'm like? Ask who you're like so you can know, okay, these fans follow, let's just say Keith Urban. Somebody told me one time when I was younger, hey, you sound a lot like Keith Urban. You play guitar, you sing a lot of the same kind of stuff. So I knew that if I was like Keith Urban, if I was similar to him, that people that liked him would probably, at the very least, be able to digest what I was doing in a favorable way. Now, you can start with them, and that might not be the core demographic. You could be very wrong. The person you ask could be very wrong, but you can keep trying. So as you approach people that like that kind of music, you can follow them, you can engage on other posts. You need to be able to know who your fans are going to be, and you'll find that out a little bit later when we talk about touring. You'll find out who the people are that really want to digest your content and really want to digest what you're doing by the people that come up to you and are very interested in what you're doing on the road, okay? So who are your fans? How old are they? What their lifestyle is, what they do for a living, where they are, and what other artists do they follow, okay? So from there, you'll build kind of a fan avatar. We're going to build one for you. Well, we're not. You're going to build one for yourself. And I need you to describe them in detail. If you're a handsome, young, 25-year-old dude, well, guess what? Your perfect demographic is probably young college-age women from 18 to 25, and maybe even later than that. You have to be able to describe in detail who those fans are, and you have to be able to serve them the kind of food that they're going to want to eat. I'm using that as an example, of course, but you want to serve the people what they definitely want to eat. So you don't want to serve somebody who's 25 something that would be served to a 65-year-old, if that makes sense. And I'm using these metaphors as an example of what you don't want to do, right? Okay. So you want to, again, avoid the trap of my music is for everyone. It's not. It's not for everyone. There will be people that do not like you. That's okay. The best artists in the world don't have people that don't like them, and that's okay. Not everybody has to like you. There's 300 million people in the United States. Guess what? There's people that don't know who Luke Combs is. There's people who have never even heard of Jelly Roll, and he's selling out football stadiums, right? So you don't have to have everybody like you. You just have to have the people that really like you. Think about this for a minute, and I tell this to everyone. I tell this to the artists that I manage. If you have 1,000 fans that give you $100 a year, that is $100,000 a year. You're a six-figure earner from 1,000 fans that spend $100 a year. You have a thriving career with 1,000 rabid fans. So think about that for a minute when you think my music is not for everyone. Okay? So let's move on to number 4, which is visual branding. Now, I have a big background in visual branding. I branded some of the biggest artists in the world. I've branded some of the smallest artists in the world. I've branded some of the biggest companies in the world. And it's really important that you have your visual branding basics together, okay? You would think this might not be important for a young artist, but it really is. You need to have your colors, your fonts, professional logo. We're not talking about something that somebody makes on Canva. We're talking about hiring a real designer to make you a logo that's going to be recognizable, having a great photographer take your photos, having a photo style and a vibe to go from, and they should match your sound. You don't want to have something that looks real rock and roll if you're a country artist. You don't want to have something that looks real country if you're a rock artist. They should match what you are exactly, okay? Your album artwork consistency is also very important. It's not random graphics. It's not just going and plucking a photo you like off the internet, which is illegal, by the way. Don't do that. It's not hiring somebody from Fiverr and paying them $4 or $5 or whatever to make you an album artwork. It's not going to ChatGPT and typing in a prompt and then giving you the album artwork. You need to have somebody present something that's going to be professional, that can stand next to these big artists, because ultimately, like I said earlier, the internet makes it to where you are competing with some of the biggest artists in the world, okay? You're competing with their teams that are on major labels, and you have to be able to put your best foot forward. You can look like a major label artist without having major label money, and it's really important that you're consistent with your brand identity. Brand identity is incredibly important. For example, I don't know if you guys remember The Weeknd, the After Hours era. He had the red jacket, the dark visuals, the consistency across all platforms. You did not see The Weeknd without that red jacket on. And you knew that he was in that particular After Hours era. Your visual branding can change over time, but it's really important that while you're trying to build a brand as a young artist, you have brand consistency so people know what they're going to get. They know exactly what you're going to look like. They know exactly what you're going to sound like, and they can infer from both of those things what you're going to sound like and look like. For instance, if they see you, they know what you're going to kind of sound like. If they hear you, they know what you're going to kind of look like, okay? And it's important that if they see you once, they need to see you again the same way, because they're going to be confused if they don't, okay? Not saying you have to wear the same thing all the time. Not what I'm saying. Good example, Lainey Wilson, right? Bell Bottom Country. She was out here for like 12 years struggling putting out records, didn't really connect with an audience because she didn't really differentiate herself from the crowd. And then one day they had her dress up in bell bottoms, and that really took off for her. And that was the vibe that really elevated her to the next level. You know, Jelly Roll, his prison to platinum thing that he's got going on, and his weight loss thing that he's got going on, it really works for him. He's grateful for where he is, but he has a past, and he utilizes that past and tells you about it. It's really important that you have your branding on point and that you stick with the story. See how it all kinds of sticks together, kind of mashes together? So 5, okay, we're gonna move on to number 5. This is our last part of course number 1. Part number 5 is consistency across all of your platforms, okay? Here's where I think a lot of people make a lot of mistakes, okay? They have a different profile picture for Instagram. They have a different profile picture for TikTok. They have a different profile picture for YouTube. They have a different logo here. They have a different logo there. People need to know that they're in the right spot. Everything needs to be exactly the same. Now, your content doesn't need to be the same. We're actually going to discuss that in the course a little bit later. Your content needs to be geared toward those specific platforms because they're very, very different platforms with very different types of consumers on all those platforms. But your visual branding, your overall visual branding, at least the presentation points of your platforms need to stay the same. The internet is the great equalizer when it comes to leveling the playing field for everyone. You got to think about this. Let's say I'm a rock band, okay? I'm a rock band and I just started. I have as much access to the world as somebody like Youngblood does. Okay, think about that for a minute. Due to selling out stadiums, I could get to as many people as he does on social media with the right content. So that the internet has really leveled the playing field. But people need to know who you are. I can't stress this enough. People need to know who you are. So your branding, your platform consistency has to stay consistent across the board. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Elon, X, all of those platforms, you need to stay consistent. Use the same logo, use the same photo on all of those as your profile picture. Use the same header picture for your banner on Facebook as you would on YouTube. Use the same bio. Use the same handle style. Have the same description if you can use a description. You know, it's really, really, really important to visually brand yourself, okay? Easy peasy. What I want you to do is I want you to, with your pen and your paper, write this down. You need to create yourself a brand sheet, a one-page PDF with all your visuals and bios so you can hand it to somebody and they can read it and say, okay, I get it. Okay, I see who you are. I see who you are as an artist, okay? It's called a one sheet. You're gonna need it in the future, but just go ahead and write it down for right now, what you feel your bio is, your colors, the fonts you like, just write the names of them down, and your audience avatar, who you think your audience is, okay? That's your closing homework. I want you to draft a one-page brand identity sheet with your bio, your colors, fonts, audience avatar, everything, okay? You're eventually gonna do a brand sheet with a one-page PDF that has all your visuals, your logo, your bio, and everything, and we're gonna use that to send out to booking agencies. We're gonna send that to use out to clubs, to bars, places like that, and eventually record labels, eventually other managers as your career progresses, and other managers can step in and feel comfortable that they will be able to monetize you and make a living off of you, okay? So, course number 1, if you don't know who you are as an artist, no one else will. Before managers, before labels, before your fans come into play, you have to define your brand, okay? So we're gonna recap real quick. You gotta define your way. Why do you make music? Tell everybody that. You gotta craft your story. Where'd you come from? Your influences, relatable hooks. Think about Jelly Roll in that one. Your audience discovery. Who are my fans? Who is like me? What do they look like? Age, lifestyle, what other artists do they follow? Build your fan avatar, okay? Your music is not for everyone. Sorry, it Don't care how good you are. It's not. Doesn't matter. There's people that don't like Freddie Mercury, one of the greatest frontmen of all time. They don't like Queen, okay? Absolutely one of the greatest bands of all time. Your visual branding basics. You got to have all that stuff together. Your logo, your photos, your colors, your fonts. They should match your sound, your album artwork, all that stuff. Remember The Weeknd and his red jacket era. And your platform consistency. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, X. Sorry, Elon. And everything else. Facebook. Make sure that they're all consistent. So when somebody's on one page, they know the other page. They know that they're the same and that they're operated by the same person. Okay, your brand sheet, you're going to have a one-page PDF with all your visuals and all your bio. It's called a one sheet. You don't have to do that right this second because you might not know what exactly all those things are, but keep that in mind. We're going to do that in the future, and it's going to come into play when actually trying to get you gigs. And then your closing homework, I want you to draft a one-page brand identity sheet with bio, colors, fonts, and an audience avatar. Just write them all down, okay? It's important. Because as we move into the following lessons, those things are going to have to be tucked in your pocket. So as we do things like record, and as we do things just go to book, you'll have that in your back pocket so you know who you are and you know your strategy moving forward. So I know that was a lot to squeeze into course number 1. Thanks for sticking with me. I hope you had your pen and your pad, and you're going to sit in your lab till you get your darn label off. See what I did there? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to come back in course number 2. In course number 2, we're going to cover music production and release strategies. There's a couple other things that we might throw in there, but we're going to do music production and release strategy in course number 2. So come on back for course number 2. It will drop next week. If it's already dropped, awesome. Go watch that one after you've mastered everything in course number 1. Don't rush it. There's no need to rush it anymore. You're here. We're all here. We're going to build the infrastructure of our careers together. Make sure to talk with people in this community. Ask them if things have worked for them. Ask them what has worked. Interact with each other. After all, we're all here to raise each other up, okay? I'm Steve Virginia with Black Label Nash in Nashville, Tennessee. We'll see you at course number 2, Music Production and Release Strategy. See you!